Hello, guys, and welcome to the historic PWI. So, tonight you are with Sherry Brett, myself, and my lovely co host, Kris.
Hello.
So, tonight we're going to be doing a very interesting show on a very famously notorious known place known as Skinwalker Ranch. Now, for anyone that knows about Skinwalker Ranch, we know that this is heavenly for the paranormal investigators for the very reasons that there are many aspects of activity of the strange and the unknown that's supposed to happen at this place. Anything from paranormal to UFOs and even some sightings of cryptos as well, guys. So today we're going to be covering the show, giving you the basic history of the location and how it may have came into being haunted, to some of the background history of that. Obviously, my sister will be starting out first. She's going to be talking to you a little bit about the families that actually owned the ranch and a little bit of information on them and any details that are to be known of the Skinwalker Ranch that she's researched and picked up. So I will be handing it over to her first. Hello to everybody in the room. We've got lovely
Hello.
Christina, and to anybody else that's looking on the other platforms. I will be muting while sister talks and I'll put her up to a bigger screen and then I will be back after, guys. So over to you, sis.
Thanks. Hi, guys. Kris here. From what this is something that I've been fascinated by, and I know my husband's very fascinated with this subject as well. He talks about it often. He watches the new show, which is on the History Channel, for the newest owner that owns it. But from the beginning, there was a family called the Myers, and Kenneth and Edith owned it from the 30s to about 1992. Um, there's a lot of controversy around them because there was a book written about them later where they debunked everything and said they never had any experiences there. Yet I beg to differ. So the family, the Shermans, moved in 1994. Terry and Gwen. They had a teenage son and they also had a daughter. And their daughter was about 10 years old. Um, let's see. They had a contract not to dig on the property from the original owners, and that was basically because I don't know, probably because of the phenomenon they were seeing. Um, they only lived there for 2 years, which was a short-lived time for the amount of stuff that they saw. When they first moved in, there was metal bars and chains on their windows and doors, which later was also debunked by the original family, but that was only because the original family, I think, was trying to hide something. That's just my opinion. The first experiences were a large wolf, which could only be explained as a dire wolf because it was as tall as a 6-foot man, and it was coming in and out of their pastures and trying to get their cows, and it ended up grabbing one of the calves, and they shot it with a rifle, and it did not die. But once they followed it, it had this goo, this like brown goo behind it that they couldn't explain, which was also found on other things on the ranch. They also started seeing UFOs in the sky, large lights that were following them or hovering over their house. They would say that most of these things would occur when it was a dark, dreary night or possibly a thunderstorm happening. Another thing I found interesting was that they had some large farm equipment that they kept finding go missing. One being an auger, and if anyone knows what an auger is a really large drill that drills down into the ground. So it's very possible that the reason they didn't want you to dig was because something was going to be disrupted based on that. When they did find the farm equipment, it was up in a tree, about 20 feet up in the tree, which is insane. Over the years, multiple things happened, and the I know that one of the main things that I thought was interesting was that the wife, after about a year, didn't want to live there anymore. She They had an incident with their dogs where this orb was flying around the dogs, and it was a blue orb, and it was kind of taunting the dogs, which I found interesting too, because it was almost wanted the dogs to follow it. When the dogs followed this orb into the woods, they hear loud whelping noises from the dogs. And I find it interesting, but and me and Sherry talked about this, that They didn't go look right when that happened. They literally waited till the next day to see what happened to the dogs. And there was big, huge burn marks into the ground where each dog was, and that brown goo again. The cow mutilations that they were finding, this was a cattle ranch, let's say this. So I do believe that some of the occurrences that they were having either the cattle was being drained of its blood or it was being surgically mutilated, which can only be contributed to possibly the lights in the sky, which I would say maybe extraterrestrials were doing that. But
Hmm.
that is just my opinion on that too, and I'm sure a lot of people do agree. Um, the Native Americans around there don't really talk much about it. They don't. They've said some things, but they do talk about the Skinwalker, and the Skinwalker is a magical being. Um, Basically, the lore on it is that they had murdered one of their family members and then ate the family member. A lot of dark black magic around them. They can do a lot of things. They have a super speed. They have a really light iridescent skin. A lot of times they don't. They look human, but they sometimes have an animal head. They shapeshift. Um, the main ones that people see are usually some sort of wolf-like creature. It can also be an owl or a bear. Um, I know that some of the people that I've seen talking about this that have actually visited, most of them do talk about seeing owls for the most part.
Yeah.
I do think that they can follow you, and this is something that they touch on as well. That if you do happen to venture in there and do come across a skinwalker, they are able to come into you and cause you a lot of misfortune, uh, possibly car accidents. I've heard a lot of people talk about that.
Hmm.
Sickness, illness, a lot of things that they can just cause because they are such dark forces and really, a tricky individual, mischievous, if you ask me. Um, I know the government went in there right after the original or the second owners left, and they did do a couple of extensive. I think it was like a 2 year long search on the area. Not much is told about that because I think that they found out more than they bargained for, and they said it was inconclusive. um, the government association. This is what I found interesting too, guys. The guy Bigelow who owned it at the time, he bought it. He bought it from the Shermans, and the Shermans sold it to Bigelow because they knew that somebody was going to actually research the place. And the Terry Sherman, who was the husband, he actually stayed on as a property manager, and he stayed on only because he wanted to continue the investigation because he clearly people didn't believe him. But this is the organization that did the first research. It's called Advanced Aerospace Weapons Systems Applications Program, and it was ASA is what they called it, and they did that from 2008 to 2010. Um, and then the Bigelow guy, he also created one as well called Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Space Studies, and they put out $22 million and had over 50 people working on this project, but yet they still kind of kept everything quiet. And that's all I got for now. I know you have the names of all the people that researched. I know Linda Howells it was part of it.
Yeah. Hang on a minute. Let me bring myself back up. I didn't realize I
I
was
have
in.
my thoughts on the whole thing, but that's basically what I took from everything is all the basic information.
Yeah. So obviously, the first researching team to go there was
That was yeah, right after they sold the ranch. The Shermans did to the
John B. Alexander, Robert Bigelow,
big.
Robert Sheriffer,
Mhm.
James Randi, and John E. Max and Bud Hopkins. They were the first researchers to go there. Like Sis said, there was a lot of information that was kept back to do with
Hmm.
Skinwalker Ranch, even to the extent that they would even say that they hadn't experienced anything at this ranch at the time of them doing their investigations and that, which to a lot of people would find really hard to believe for the
Hmm.
simple fact the other researchers that are there now, and people that have gone from the public that were able to investigate that place before it become non-public, all of the experience that people have experienced over the years, and the phenomena that's seen around that area as well by people
Hmm.
that live near it, it's just really hard to process when they're saying that they weren't having no experiences. That I just don't see how that is. I think for a lot of these people that won't step forward and speak about the information of the ranches because they know that there could be some sort of
Well,
tragedy or something
well,
that
the
could happen,
government,
because they don't the ranch is a very secret place. It's
yes.
believed to have curses up on it. It's believed to obviously be infested with different paranormal activities such as
Mhm.
UFOs and you know the spirits, even like we said, the skinwalkers, which are one of the most feared creatures by many, are supposed to be said to seen on this location as well. So for a lot of people, it's being scared to speak out because they think by speaking out, the curse will inflict something on them. I think a lot of them believe that, and some of the researchers that previously had that location under their arm, when people would talk about doing such things as digging in the grounds and stuff like that, it would be a lot of
Mhm.
them stepping forward saying that they don't think that's a good idea. Now, if you've not picked up this
Could that be
activity,
Indian burial grounds though too? And that's why
it
they're
could
telling
be,
you
but
not
I
to
don't
dig in the
think it's
ground?
just linked to that, to be honest. I think it's
No, but
because
that
there
has
is
something
something
to
wrong
do
with
with
the
it
ground. Yeah,
because the
because
skinwalkers are connected to the Ute
yeah,
tribe
and
and the Indian.
it's a secret place, like I was saying. So a
It's
lot of the
sacred.
time you can't go digging up on them sort of locations, but it is, I don't think it's just completely to do with that either. I do think it's to do with the fact of the activity. I think that the activity becomes more increased when people start messing around with the ground. I believe that that is because there are secret things buried under that ground that certain beings and energies do not want people to find. um as Sis was just explaining earlier, one of the main things that have been seen on there, along with UFOs, are the really large, oversized wolves that seem to turn up. And the shaman husband that was there and was in charge of the ranch had actually, like Sis said, had one occasion where a calf was being tried to be stolen by this oversized wolf, and he shot at it to get it to release off of the calf. Now, this took several shots before it did actually release it, but when it all came to going over the evidence and going over what had happened, they found some fur with flesh on it, but this fur and flesh was rotten. Now, with skinwalkers, even though they're not registered as being all of them being dead, they do take that, I guess, like a zombie sort of look, don't they?
Hmm.
They look like the dead, the living, walking dead. You know what I mean? They do.
Almost vampiric
And
too.
some of them will wear certain head bits, like wolf bits and stuff like that. Some of them do turn into animals, and such as, like Sis said, wolves, bears, owls,
Yes,
them sort of
owls,
things. Things that are very easy to stalk.
manipulative. Hmm.
These animals do stalk. So
Well, I would
I
think if
think,
they went into an animal, they probably can put their spirit into the animal, and then the animal appears like it's dead.
yeah,
So it's almost like
yeah,
it's just
they can do a lot of
a
things.
walking dead.
They can most definitely shapeshift and look like something they want to look like at that time. Whether that's because they're going under attack or they're trying to scare that person away. It can be for a
Mhm.
number of reasons why they do it. But one of the most known factors for Skinwalker Ranch is the UFO stuff as well, guys. There was a lot of sightings of lights over the location, and
Mhm.
even seeing actual UFO objects themselves,
Yep.
like in the sky. Um, they've had a lot of, as Sis said, a lot of cattle mutilation, and just how some of the cows have been killed, and
Yeah.
the blood's been drained, and some facial and body parts have been removed. This is very, very known to being alien activity, ET activity, the UFO side. A lot of
Man,
these
government had
mutilations, not
the
human.
government had
You,
explanations for a lot of this stuff, but they had none for almost all of it. Like there was only like 3 or 4 things that they could actually debunk, and then you couldn't really debunk it
yeah,
because it got to a point where it was like, how you gonna explain huge mounds of dirt being removed in a circular motion out of this person's yard and there's no dirt there? If you dig a hole,
exactly. Yeah,
the hole is going to have dirt next to it. Where's the dirt? And
yeah.
why
The
is all
dirt's not, it's the same with the animals. Like you would expect, if an animal's been attacked, you're going to see the pool of blood around it. You're going to, if organs have been removed, you're going to see blood around that. But there isn't. It's very clean, and the cuts are very clean, not
they're
like of what humans do.
surgical?
This is most definitely not of
That's
this world. It
that's
can't be
extraterrestrial.
explained on why that happens. And there's been certain little documentaries that they've put out where you'll see one thing where there's this very young calf of a year old sitting over to the back of the trees, and it starts responding to something. You can't see what it is at the first. You can just see this cow's very scared and weary of whatever it is. Then it
Oh, it
starts to
took
have this very strange and weird behavior start to happen. And then the
the
camera looks up towards the tree line, and there's actually a UFO object above this calf at the time that this is happening.
mm-hmm.
Obviously, from then, the guys have gone out over to where this calf is because they knew what this meant. It meant there's going to be another killing, okay? So they've come over to the ranch, they've gone over to where this cow was seen responding to this object that was in the sky. And when they got there, the cow was dead. The calf was dead, and it had certain organs removed. It was very clean cut, no blood. And it was just very weird that minutes before that UFO object was seen above the cow, and that
Oh,
was
they were
happening.
getting followed.
Yeah,
They were getting followed in their cars, and when they
they were
talked
getting
about their,
followed. Yeah, they
they were
would, and
talking
you would.
about their dogs. Their dog when the dogs when they found them, they looked like they were burnt because like there was like holes burnt into the ground, and the dogs were dead in each individual circle with that brown goo all around them.
Yeah,
So
something clearly went down on top of them and
vapor.
killed them, definitely. And it's the same with the cows and stuff. When they do it to the cows, there's always this mucousy stuff left with them, and
Hmm.
just no sign of how it's happened. Only the body parts being removed and the blood disappearing. Now, if that was any normal animal, then there would be clear signs of an attack. You know what I mean? So it
This
is
happens
very
all
out of
over the
this
world,
world,
though.
very, very out of the world. And this isn't just. This happens in lots of locations that supposedly
Does
have UFOs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So
crop circles and dead
crop
cows. It happens in
circles,
a lot
yeah,
of places.
it does. And it's most definitely a very unusual place, and it does have a lot of paranormal activity there, and strange goings on. I do believe, like a lot of people say, that they believe that there's many different sorts of portals on that place. I believe it's a vortex, because a vortex is so
Or
much bigger than a portal. A vortex is where one massive ground can be affected and whatever's on it,
and they
and
zero in on the mountain. They zero in
it's
on
that
the North Mountain.
powerful. It's that powerful that it can allow all sorts of energy to come through, as well as energy coming from above or from underneath. What you
Hmm.
got to remember as well is with Skinwalker Ranch, as well as it's being known for its paranormal and its skinwalkers and its UFOs and that, this place was something before all of that started happening. There was native Indian tribes that would live there. There were
Hmm.
other people that would have lived around those locations. So you got to think about all of the residual energy that would be there as well. Energy that's unknowing of what's happened to him, and energy that is knowing of what's happened to him. So you've also got that as well, which is where the paranormal side, I believe, comes from. But these energies are far stronger than the normal spirit we're used to, because of what they are. They are
Oh, yeah.
of magic. They are of power. They are of these sort of things. So
They are dark. A lot of them are dark magic, but then
dark
the
energy
rest
as
of it,
well. Yeah, very
uh,
dark energy because of what they practice in and stuff like that. So you've got the paranormal side, but you really don't get much information about the paranormal side. They really do seem to speak a lot more about the UFO
UFOs. Hmm.
side and all of the things that happen around that.
You know why
And
though? Because the Indians don't want to talk about the skinwalkers because if you
Yeah, no.
even if you speak of them, especially if you're near that
But
area.
not even just with the skinwalkers, but the normal spirits and stuff that would be walking around there and that as well. You don't ever really hear them talking about that they've
Well, if
seen
you
a
watch,
ghost or they've
if
seen
you
something walk past there or
well, Miss Sherry, if you watch people's accounts of it, I watch a lot of that. Like that's what I was more interested in because, like I said, my husband likes to watch the History Channel, the new guy that owns the ranch.
hey,
'Cause
dragon.
they're doing their own investigation. They've been doing their own for a couple of seasons of that show. And when I watch it, I find it to be like too commercial for me because I want to hear like firsthand accounts when I'm researching something. I don't want to hear about, these guys who are getting paid to do it. Like clearly they're getting paid to
Yeah,
do it.
no. And that's what I'm saying. That a lot of like they're researching. They're supposed to be researching into both sides, but they
I
seem to
know
be
because
bringing
the
out
guy owns
more
the
over the
place.
UFO side. Like there is paranormal stuff there, and there is things that happen with spirits and that, and there have been normal people that have caught that on video. You know what I mean? But to me,
There was a lady that said
even
that
though
one
they're there, I
house,
don't think they're there to educate us or to show us the proof of the paranormal. They're actually there to prove the side for the UFOs. They seem to do a lot more on that for some
they do.
reason.
They care more about the mountain and catching the whatever has been floating over that mountain. And I get it,
Yeah,
and there
the
has been
master.
stuff.
The master
There,
is it's like a massive mound,
it's a
guys,
mountain.
right?
It's the
Okay.
North Mountain.
And a lot of the researchers are establishing their research around that area because they do believe that they've found some unknown object, a very large 40-foot object underneath this ground, and it's
Underneath
got
the
this
mountain.
material of metal that isn't known to this planet. So they know that it's unusual. But every time they get so far into the research and the studying, there's something that seems to stop it each time. They can't get directly into where they need to be getting. Something is stopping them. And it is believed that in the Skinwalker Ranch, underground, there are supposed to be these blue alien species that's supposed to live there and reside there. Um, these these blue aliens were very much spoke by the tribes that would hang around Skinwalker Ranch as well. That some of them had actually come into communication with these blue spacemen,
Mm-hmm.
and they would help them to understand things, learn them about space and about all these different things that we've
Yeah.
come to learn today. You know what I mean? So,
Yes.
but they are that they were meant to have left, but they didn't. Some of them are still
The
there and
Indian
still
tribes
there
talk
for a
about it.
reason.
There was the blue. There's a species of blues that
Yes,
supposedly
Northern
live
Ute. It is. Yes, there is
in the
also
Utes.
known for
Yes.
links as the from the Navajo as well. Definitely. But the Ute tribe are one of the very well known tribes for the Skinwalker Ranch and for having communication with these blue
Mhm.
beings and things like that. So it's a very interesting place. But like I said, it's a lot of it is formed around the UFOs because there's some very strange things that happen. They've resided in doing certain experiments that would not go to plan.
Well, the
And
blue
there is one
aliens.
area that's just in front of where the mountain is, and they've done several rocket experiments where they've tried to send these rockets up into space, and it's like this rocket. One of these rockets looked like they hit something and they went off to another angle. There's been times where they've done experiments where they're flying over the triangle that they're going on about, where they're getting this activity, and they've flown above it and they've thrown things out that have got devices on it that can scan stuff. That the devices have just gone completely the opposite way. Whatever's in that area is not wanting to be calculated. It's not wanting to be traced.
Well,
And
the Ute Indians didn't. Or the Native Americans. I'm sorry, they did not want to talk about like all of the stuff. They just gave you basic information and said, "Stay out, stay away, don't go there."
yeah,
That's
and I
basically
think
what
that's
they
because
always
they're
tell
aware of it,
people.
aren't they?
And they don't speak about it because the reason they don't speak about it is because look what those black magic people were doing. They were actual people at some point. These were people, the skinwalkers. They did black magic. They turned it into something terrible, and they became something terrible. So you
Yeah,
got to
but they
think
don't
if you're killing
necessarily
one of your
get
family
squashed.
members. Now think about it. If you're killing
They
one
can
of your
actually choose to be a skinwalker as well.
family, well, I'm saying that's so there's a reason they don't speak about it. The Native Americans
Yeah,
there don't speak about it because they don't want it to bring it into their own path. They don't talk about it. The same thing that your pops was talking about today. He said the exact same thing. He said,
Yeah,
the more and more you talk about it, the more and more it becomes part of your life.
yeah. And that's very true as well, Dragon. Yeah, Jack Osborne did go there with Ozzy Osbourne, and that, and they did catch evidence of something, some creature or animal with red eyes on the video, and that, yeah, definitely. And that's what I'm saying. There have been investigation teams that have caught paranormal as well as UFO stuff on there. You know what I mean? But these researchers don't seem to feel in the side of the paranormal very much. They are really angling it all at the UFO side. That's where they think the most strangest phenomena is going on. And
Well, it's all
like
strange.
sis was going, yeah, but they do look at that as being more strange. Spirits are more known of
No,
than what UFOs
no.
are.
The government is looking at that more intently. It has nothing to do with the other people's accounts. If you go and look on the internet and see other people that have been in that area or live around there
Isn't that?
or talk about it, they will all say the same types of stuff. And it varies, from the animals to the UFOs to anything. It's all there. The watching, that's why I said watching a
Yeah, I
main.
know that. But what I'm saying is that they're not really there to look at the paranormal. There are so many people that believe in the spirits and the
Yes,
ghosts
of
and stuff. So they're
course.
not going to look at that as much, are
That's,
they? When they hear a UFO, they're going to want to go about a UFO more than they are a spirit. Spirit is more known.
yeah, the government and a TV show. Yeah, sure, sure. But
But
most
there's a lot of other people that are going there just for the UFO side as well. Now,
maybe
that
I
are
think they're
normal
going there
people.
for all of it.
Well,
they're
we
they're
would,
hoping
yeah,
to catch
but some
something.
people are not.
Uh, I don't know, man. The people that I see that were able, because now you have to get permission to go there, and there's only
Yeah,
a
no,
couple of
I
channels that I have seen that were able to get
Yep.
in there. And this one guy, I can't remember the name of his channel. I'd give him a shout out if I could, because I watched him. And this owl was following this man the whole time. And his crew the whole time he was there. And they were gonna spend the night, and they said, "Nope, we're leaving." They left,
Yeah.
and I don't blame them. I'd have left too.
And there is certain phenomena. There is certain phenomena that happens there for those reasons. And like I said, that there's meant to be like an alien civilization. I don't just believe that things are not allowed to happen on there because of the paranormal activity. I do believe that there are things that could be found if it was allowed to do that. Like they're already trying to do so much research into this mound. They've found certain things, they're not able to get to it. This is a secret place for
It's
obviously the native
sacred.
people, but it's also a secret place for those beings that have decided to put themselves there. They're not going to let people try and find out everything about them, especially if they reside to that
Why
location
do you
and
think it makes
they
them
take
sick?
that location over. And
I think I think there might be some radiation under there too, and that's part of the reason it makes some people sick is that it's the same thing with the pyramids, there's something underneath there that our bodies can't handle. And
yeah,
so maybe that's why they're warning us not to dig because it's going to make you sick, maybe make your cow sick, who knows? But I suggest, yeah, it's not really a good
yeah, it
idea.
would make the cows sick, but you wouldn't have eyes and stuff cut out by
Well,
a cow.
it's either some sort of alien civilization or ship underneath that mound, or it's a burial ground that they don't want you disturbing. It could be a number of things, but I would say it's one of the two.
Yeah, but there's been research. This is what I'm saying. I have watched videos and I have seen it. That there's research that there is a 40-foot object under that mound.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't
And
kept
it's
up
got
with the new
certain metals
episode.
in that. A burial site's not going to have different metals in it. That's not from this planet, is it?
No, probably
Not.
not.
It's not a burial.
Probably
It's
not.
something of not of this world. And I do believe that there is some sort of craft under there. And I do believe that maybe there is a headquarters that aliens would use to communicate with other energies of their selves. You know what I mean? And I do believe that all of that is under that ranch. I do believe that they've got an underground thing going.
I have a piece of a meteorite, so I get it. Yeah,
Yeah.
could be.
Very not saying we're not saying this is definitely going. We can't prove that. We're not there. We're not seeing this. You know what I mean? We're only going by what we're seeing. But
To be honest with you, I
it
wouldn't go
sounds
there.
very bizarre. It
I
is
wouldn't go
very
there.
bizarre.
Nope, wouldn't go there.
I
I'm
think I would,
interested in it,
probably
but
just for
I'm
the
not going.
simple fact that I'm an investigator. I mean, I'd want to know, but I would make sure I've got loads of protection. I wouldn't stay there overnight. Definitely wouldn't stay there overnight. And it's not something I would go breaking into either. It'd be something where I get, you know,
I feel like if I got
told that
even
it's okay
within
to.
like a couple of miles of the place, I would start to see and feel stuff. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
good.
that definitely. It's
I'm
very,
good.
very, very active on both sides. Like in my opinion, that it's very active for UFOs and it's very active for spirit. Okay, and people most definitely prove that by having chains and stuff over their windows and their doors and stuff, and big dog leads for like big, massive
Yeah, but
animals that
hold
are
on.
like sit there and
The original family said that that wasn't really true. That it was only because there was three books written, I believe. But I don't know. The first book got the government interested. The second book was like the family saying this didn't happen. The first family, or no, it was about the second family, and then the third book was the other family saying that didn't happen. That some of this stuff didn't happen, but it was like right at the book was written right before the Myers guy died, and so and then it was written in like I think I got it written down here. It was 2021 that book was written,
yeah,
where he
like
debunks it and says that he never none of but the son even came back and said too nothing ever happened on that ranch. But I really do believe that the reason they're saying nothing ever happened on there was because they didn't want it to follow them. They didn't want it to
no, they
follow
didn't.
them
That's what I was saying
because they
earlier.
lived there
That they're not
peacefully,
going to.
so-called peacefully for 50 years. If you're going to live there for 50 years, and they were saying that the people just left the ranch because whatever reason. No, the lady had to go into a nursing home, the Myers wife, and the father died like a few years before that. And the son, and the other siblings inherited the ranch. So what they did was they just sold it whenever they could, and 2 years later they sell it to the next family. And those are the people that had all the problems. I feel like there was maybe some sort of peace amongst the family that lived there before, because you can imagine if they lived there for 50 years, clearly they saw some stuff. They had to have. But the new family coming in wasn't ready for it, you know? They just weren't ready for what was about to happen to them. Whereas the other family, things were just a little bit more easygoing for them, I guess. Maybe they had a better energy. That's all I can say. They did say that the grandma said that she had some stories she could tell, but she didn't ever tell them.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I do believe that they would have had some experiences. I just believe that they don't talk about it, and I guess they had bigger bones. They weren't prepared to be removed off their property so easily, you know.
Yeah,
But you know, the second family that went in there, that they were there for just 2 years, and
2 years.
they experienced a lot of paranormal phenomena. And I remember when they'd done the video where the ranch was then bought off of them and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
I remember some of the researchers saying about
Well, the government got
like
interested in the guy that bought it.
big, big chains coming out of the walls, big chains on the on the windows, on the doors, certain
Like,
artifacts put in that house that would be of a religious thing, which would show that there was something clearly going on. And obviously, they'd experienced these big wolves. These big wolves were coming round, so they would have had pretty big dogs themselves to make sure it's keeping the ground on that property.
no,
Because
man, they
what
said
comes
they were
into
just
it, you know what I
normal.
mean? So
No, their dogs were just normal dogs, man. They were like Labradors. They weren't anything crazy. They were just normal dogs. But the
yeah,
dog
but there
came
were
up
big
to them.
chains or big dogs in the back of that house. So they were either holding something that they weren't saying about, or they'd caught one of those
Oh,
wolves at one point.
oh, because they
It
were there
wasn't
for
a chain
50
for a
years.
dog. It was a huge chain that was literally welded into the wall, so it couldn't be
Dude,
moved.
stop it. Oh my God, you think they caught one? Whoa. Maybe that's why
Well,
they
if
went.
it's on the if it's on the ranch, they're not going to say if they did, are they? Like you don't know
No,
if
of
they have.
course
Do you
not.
know what I mean? But why
No
would you
wonder
have
they
a
were so
massive
silent.
chain like that
You
for
know
no
those.
reason?
Oh man, this is getting touchy, but you know them government people know a lot more than they're saying that they know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're hiding things. It's either they've
And
caught
why do you think they're
something or
making
they've
a
been.
show about it now that's so like mainstream? Like they're doing that to hide some shit too.
Well,
I
yeah,
Well, I'm
Yeah,
not ever
and I do
going.
believe that. I do believe that when they've done
Look,
studies, they've
if
been
you
able to
go
know
there, if
certain creatures they needed to keep hold of because they
Ron,
needed to
look,
research
you're
and
going.
study. Why would they know so much about the skinwalker if the Navio and all of these people don't like talking about them? How do they know? They've got to have
Because they
caught
did
one
talk about
and
it.
watched
They only told them.
one's character.
Well, the blue aliens already met with the government. The blue aliens and the Utes and the Navajos all were in coincidence, with the government.
Yeah, no, I
Blues
know that.
decided to leave. They decided to leave. They didn't want to stay here anymore. Then, and some of them stayed, and they kept track of the land because they knew it was a vortex. They knew it,
Yeah, they knew it was of something of another
and
place.
so
You know
did
what I mean?
and so did the Native Americans, but they didn't want to say anything about it because that's part of their culture. So of course, them
Yeah,
keeping
but
quiet.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm going on about the paranormal side at the minute. What I'm saying
Oh,
is that they have got to have caught some sort of evidence of these creatures. I'm not being funny. There was nobody that was really that open to talking about the skinwalker. Okay. So how
no,
else are you going to understand apart from doing a bit of research unless they've actually caught this animal and they've seen this animal shapeshift and do whatever? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
isn't that messed up?
Yeah, but they wouldn't tell us if they did because then it would,
Hell
you know,
no, they
that's what
wouldn't
I'm
tell.
saying. They will keep that. I reckon that there's a lot more to that place that they've found that they're letting on.
But that is the
Yeah.
paranormal side.
And that is because it's a skinwalker. It's associated with the paranormal and maybe even with a crypto because it shape shifts and it does whatever. But it is of the paranormal. It's a negative energy. A lot of witches that do negative energy would turn into the skinwalkers as well. But
That's
these creatures are meant
exactly.
to be huge. They're meant to be huge and they're meant to turn into these massive, massive wolf dogs. How do you know that a wolf dog was not caught? It come that close to that ranch at that time and that man shot at it. How do you know that one wasn't caught?
Not the Shermans. He didn't. It ran into the woods and they just followed the goo
No,
and
that's
saw
what I'm
it.
saying. He shot at it, but it was that close to the house.
No,
It
you're
doesn't mean
talking
it's
about
not
the
going to come
original
in.
owners. If the original owners lived there for 50 years, and there's all those chains that you're saying look like would hold a big dog, okay. Nah, I mean,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They could have caught it, but then the shamans had the same encounter with the same dog, is what I'm saying. And they did because their calves were trying to be stolen.
you
And
know what
he
they
went up
described
to
it
it.
as? You know what they described the big dog as? Huge, almost 6 foot tall, and
No,
it.
not
Oh,
werewolves. No,
no, a dire wolf. A dire
no.
wolf.
Somebody in the rooms just said, "What, a werewolf?" I was like, "No, not a werewolf, darling.
No,
No, it's
a
a
dire
wolf."
wolf.
Yeah,
But basically, it's like the largest form of a wolf. Prehistoric, really. But
really, really big, really
but
huge.
like 6 foot, 6 foot,
Like literally, there was two
huge.
occasions they see this wolf
Well, he
on that
said it came up
location.
to them like it was a pet, like it was
They were in the
somebody's
car.
dog. He
There,
literally
yeah,
said it came up like it was somebody's dog,
sis,
like
I'm
it was
telling the
their
story
dog.
because I'm trying to explain what when they see it. The first experience was when they were in their garage. They're sat in the car, and this wolf walked around their car. It was it was taller than the car. It was huge.
That's not the first time I
They
saw it.
locked themselves into the car because of how scared they were of this creature. They knew what they'd seen, and then there was another incident where one of the cows are going crazy and he goes out there and one of these dogs that they'd seen in that garage was trying to take one of their calves. Mr. Sharman
It wasn't
called
in
for
the
his son
garage.
to
They
get
saw it in a
him the
field.
gun. No, it was trying to take the calf, sis.
Yeah, but it wasn't in the garage. It was outside in the
No,
field.
I said it started, the first sighting was in the garage.
Oh, with them in the car. I
Yeah.
didn't hear
And
that.
then on a second occasion was when this huge wolf was trying to take one of the calves, and
Yeah,
the shaman husband
and they
shouted
shot
for
it.
the son to get the gun, and he shot at this wolf as it was trying to take this calf. He shot it several times towards it to try and scare it, and it would not let go of the calf. This
Mm,
is what was described, okay? On the third shot, it did let go, and it started running towards the field to go out towards the woods where he shot it like in the leg and back area.
mhm.
And that's where some flesh come off. And when he went and looked at the flesh and he picked it up,
It
it
was
was dead.
putrid.
It was not living. It looked like it weren't living. It was rotting, which was a telltale sign for a skinwalker. because they're still living, but they come across as being dead, sort of thing, like because of the way that they look, their appearance is very pale, very grey, very smelly. They don't smell very nice.
Yeah,
Um,
I imagine they don't.
no, they don't. It's like rotting flesh. That's what they smell like.
Yeah, I would never visit there just for the simple fact I don't wouldn't even want to be within 20
It
miles
would
of
be
that
the best
place.
place. It would. In the car with the doors locked and stuff, that would be the best place to go, especially if you've got something like of that size going around you and stuff. You wouldn't want to get out of the car, would you? But
Hell no.
the simple fact is that these creatures have been witnessed by several families, and I do believe that the first family witnessed them as well, which is why they
Oh
have
yeah,
those big chains
they
and
were
stuff.
living. The first family was living amongst them and just going about
Yeah,
their business. I think I like seriously. I really feel that way. I
I
feel
just think
like
that they were a very hard-working family, and I just don't think they were prepared to be run off of their ranch that they put that money, so much money into. You know what I mean? So they
they
did
didn't
enjoy it for 50 years, but I do believe that I'm sure they went to their graves with some horrible
secrets.
memories and big secrets. You know what I mean? I'm sure of it.
No, I'm freaking sure of that too.
It sounds like
Because they acted like they abandoned the ranch.
Palmyra black magic. Could very well be. Palmyra black magic could very well be part of what's gone on there. But then you've
Oh,
got
you
things
think that
such
lady
as
had something to do with it?
voodoo
Probably
or
did.
hoodoo and all of them sort of religions as well. And obviously some of the native people, even though they were very spiritual people, they did used to do certain ceremonies which would relate to both sides, you know what I mean? So they themselves would bring up certain energies, and obviously when
Mhm.
they had to remove from that location, where they were moved out of that location, I think that they put some sort of curse on that on there to
They
stop
did.
people going, not to hurt anyone, to stop people going on there. But obviously people of today don't listen to the advice that others give them a lot. So, and there's been a lot of incidences that have happened on there. There was we've got like the new guys that were there. They've been there for a couple of years now.
They've been there
Um,
for a couple seasons because that's the one my
yeah,
husband watches. It's on the
you've
History
got
Channel. Let me tell you, it's commercial for me because I want to hear like a firsthand experience versus like the
yeah,
commercial aspect of it, even though I'm sure they're gathering a bunch of information. You know they are. You know they know
they do talk about certain experiences and stuff like
they do.
that. Like I've watched
One of them, a couple of them got sick and stuff and did
yeah.
say that they felt
You've got
crappy after certain things. You
you've
know, I
got
just don't think they're
You've got
as
Brent Dragon Arnold, Tom Lewis Carricker. Then you've got Linda Moulton Howe, Jim
oh, I love her.
Morse.
She's great.
You've got Thomas Winterton, Jim Selgler, Brent Arnold, which is Brent, I've just said to you about, S. Taylor, and Brandon Fugel. Brandon Fugel is the owner of the ranch at the moment. Um, Travis is the main investigator and researcher of that location, and it was Thomas Winterton, which was the one that become injured when on there. He was doing some experiment in an area where he was picking up a lot of EMF and stuff like that, and he started to get a very sharp pain in his head, and he didn't know what was
Yep.
going on. He was going all like funny and hallucinating, and one of his other colleagues become very concerned for his health that he removed him off of that location and took him back to the office, where
Yep.
they decided he needed to go to hospital because he was reacting really bad to whatever happened. And when he actually got into hospital and they'd done x-rays, there was actually something where the back of his head, like something had been pushed out through his head, like something had done something to him,
Mhm.
and it affected him for a very long time. He was out of work for a while because of it. You've had other people explain getting very horrible pressures, really horrible headaches, even feeling
Mhm.
nauseous, having really horrible nightmares when they're there as well. Like just lots of really unusual experiences. You know what I mean? And
Okay,
a
look,
lot
I
of
was
the
gonna
equipment
say, me
would
personally,
malfunction.
as an empath, I would not go there. I would
Yeah,
I
even the
would not go
equipment,
there.
even the equipment itself would malfunction. They put like
No.
certain equipment out in certain places, and it'll start malfunctioning or turn off. It don't work. It
Mm.
completely just stops. You know, a lot of stuff goes on there, and like I said, even the experiments themselves, when they're like carrying out these rocket experiments, or they do the EMF experiments and stuff like that. Sometimes some of the devices go off and don't start working, and the rockets mysteriously blow up, or they hit an object that you can't see and goes off the opposite way. They've gone over in aeroplanes and dropped things out of the sky hoping to get something that way, can't get nowhere near that vortex. Okay. And they've done experiments. They've done a experiment to try and get more from this object under the ground, but they'd also done a laser fly experiment, which is where they lasered the whole of the ground and they flew over this special object, and that was how they were able to detect that even though there was a vortex, there were certain areas that had these portal-like looking portals opening in the middle of the sky and opening near the ground and things like that. You could see this in 3D structure, these portals forming like on the camera thing, and nobody could explain how those structures were there, because when you look at it with your physical eye to the ground, there's nothing stood there.
It opened the sky.
It's invisible, you know what I mean? But it's
there.
Yeah. And there is a lot of that, and I think that's another reason they say not to dig, not just because of that, but there is so many things open and so many energies that are attached to that ground that anything could happen to you, you know what I mean? So
look, this is off topic, but there's like a couple of volcano sites that it's a legend amongst the Hawaiians that if you take a rock from there that you will go home with a curse. So like, and there's certain castles too that are the same way. So it's kind of the same thing. It's like there's just sacred land that you just don't mess with. There's parts that you just don't mess with.
Yeah.
And I think fascination
think be messed with. I think even just for the paranormal and the UFO stuff, it just needs to be left alone. In my opinion, like let it do its thing. That's what it's trying to do. It's going with nature. It's doing its thing. Like there's something of existence there, and I do believe, like sis, you've said it so many times, there is a civilization under that ground. They are there, and they don't want to be found, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them for not.
It's all interconnected, if you ask me. There's many civilizations underground. So
and I do believe that the reason they're under there is I do believe that is some sort of headquarters that communicates with those that are up in the sky. That's why you might be seeing so many sightings as well, as where they come and go, and they receive message. They remove, because if you think for a lot of them, why are they staying here? To understand the earth, to understand the people, to try and collect data. So why would you not be seeing a lot of sightings? Why would you not be seeing a lot of spaceships and things turning up from there and stuff like that?
Earth isn't such a bad place.
No, it's not. But for them, they've got much more beautiful places that they could be at than staying here constantly. There is a connection to here, and
we also have abundance
I don't know what kind of cosmic bloggers are living there, but they can have it.
We have natural resources, so like that's one of the main things that I would say.
Yeah, and resources, the fact that there are people that they're connected to here as well. This planet is part of their world, and they very much have a holding over this planet just as they do any other. You know what I mean? Like we're all one thing. So the problem is with our race, we're becoming too greedy for knowledge, and we're becoming too greedy for wanting things our own way. And this is why I think some of them have gone into hiding, because if it wasn't the case, they would be happily walking in among us. They wouldn't be worried, would they? But they're not. They're hiding. They're not wanting people to know about them. Clearly they're having direct communication with these other ET people that keep turning up in their spaceships and taking cattle and doing things to them, things like that. You know what I mean? So
that could just be for food, sweetheart. Let's be honest. Like,
but they've got their foods up there. It's not for food.
Well, maybe they're just doing it for a delicacy. Maybe they're just
it's for medical and all other sorts of things. It's for a lot of things. But
they've been cloning people for years too, dude. We've got underground tunnels where they're cloning people too.
Yeah,
so,
that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of things happening here that they're very aware of, and obviously that information is going to be relayed. Do you know what I mean? That's why that could be one of the reasons you're seeing so many sightings over that place. It's a place where they all join and they all come together to
congregate
and talk about the things that need to be changed or sorted, or changing. Maybe some of them are going back up there, and some are coming to stay within the ground. You know what I mean? I'm sure they have to go back to their planet at one point to be able to like reconflict and get themselves back to energy. So it
Okay, then this
changes
begs the
stations.
question. This begs the question. If they're gonna sit here and get mad at everyone else for digging or doing stuff over there, but this research group that owns it now has no problems, other than the guy getting like sick. Like clearly they have some sort of like agreement too.
But the thing
Like,
is,
you
they
know,
haven't, because these guys are not getting what they want. They might be getting little bits of evidence, but they're not getting it to the extent that they want. Every time they're doing research, every time they're doing experiments and stuff, it's failing.
it's a TV show, sweetheart. Don't you think they would not? They're not going to tell you anything they've really found out on a TV show. Why do you think I don't take it
Yeah, it's
seriously?
not just on TV. They do live streams. They do other places. They've got the actual Skinwalker websites and stuff where there is stuff on there that shows them what they've caught.
Yeah, sorry.
I just don't see that this alien civilization is working with those researchers. If it's not entained any other researcher that's come onto that turf, why is it going to intervene with them?
The government didn't tell us what they found. They said it was inconclusive, and they were there for 2 years. And Linda Howell, like, I mean, she would probably be the one that would tell. She would tell you, but I don't know. I don't know. She does lots of seminars and stuff. I don't know. It's mysterious in my opinion, but I do
It is.
believe that.
It's a very mysterious place.
But I wouldn't go there. Definitely wouldn't go there. No way.
There have been people that have gone missing there recently because of activity. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. And I don't think that's all down to the extraterrestrial. I believe that there are other things that are doing that, and
Oh, for sure.
I just personally don't think that the extraterrestrial civilization that's under that
That one's
mountain
peaceful.
that is having any communication with any human. It's not anything government
Oh, the
related.
blues.
Governments are one of their biggest enemies at the minute because of what it does to them.
I think the blues still speak with the aliens. They have like a communication with each other. They actually
That's
are.
what I'm saying. That's why you might be seeing these spaceships up in the sky, because it's a visitation area. It's where they
No,
come
they're
together. It's
friendly.
where they
They're
talk.
like
It's where they lazy on with each other. And
the Utes and the blues are friends,
yeah,
from what I
the
understand.
native people, but the native people are not part of the government. What I'm saying, they're not going to associate with
They
government
tried to they tried
people.
to have a agreement with the government, but the government didn't want to. They wanted to go with the Greys. They went with the Greys.
Yeah, so why would they be so quick to trust? That's what I'm saying. Why
They
would they be
don't.
so quick to trust people now? They wouldn't. Like when you, that's what you're saying. You said maybe they've got some sort of agreement with them. I don't see that they would have an agreement with them
Well,
at
they've
all.
been there for a long time, so the fact that they've been there
Yeah,
for
but
several.
to be there for a long time and have a way to live, why would you then open that and give that to somebody that's not trusting? You wouldn't. You just carry on the way you're going. If that's the case, yeah, you're saying they're on TV, they're doing this, they're doing that, whatever, yeah. But they're still showing the experiments where their experiments are getting messed up, where their experiments are blowing up, where there's stuff going on. There is still evidence there being shown to what's going on with the extraterrestrial side. Do you know what I mean?
Well, no one said there wasn't any evidence. I just said they're not telling you everything.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That is a pretty big thing to show out to public. Why would you show like things may or dysfunctioning
Because that's
if
what
they
they've
don't
been
want people?
doing
They
for
don't want the
years
attention
now.
there.
Because that's what's been happening for
Trump
years
of
now.
technology. That's why they
Slowly
want
showing you that there's
on
something in the
the
sky.
grace.
Slowly telling you there's something in the
Yeah,
sky, which we always
and I
knew.
agree with that. Who are you, Facebook user? Because you're saying all this stuff in the room, and I can't see who you are. A swamp technology. That's why they went with the Greys. Yeah, the government did. They did want technology. They wanted power. They wanted all of that sort of thing. And
Greys were
some of
gonna.
these extraterrestrials are not that way. Why would they want to give somebody power
The
that don't
Blues
deserve it?
warned
They
them. The
wouldn't.
Blues warned them about the Greys.
Yeah, but they didn't listen, did they? Mostly desert with some farm and ranch land. North and land improves.
Oh,
South
did
has
it?
gas and oil. Lots of methane
Mm-hmm.
in the gilsonite veins. The gilsonite is a type of asphalt in the vertical veins layout of north-south. Hmm.
You're basically saying there's gas line, like natural pipelines underneath there.
Yeah, that could be true as well, Dragon. That a lot of the activity and stuff that is going on the ranch could be inflicted to take, vision and view away from other places that may be having things going on as well, such as Area 51 and things like that.
It's really
There's a lot of
close
that
to
as
it.
well. I do
It's
agree with that, Dragon.
it's really close to Area 51 too.
Oh, it's Vic. Hello, Vic. Yeah, and a lot of very unusual stuff goes on there that you can't deny that. Okay, paranormal, UFO, that it's all happening on that ranch, and it is very true. We're not going to know everything that's going on there. They're never going to give all of that out. No, just as much as you try to, you know, say to them, come on, please, like, give us a little bit more, show us a little bit more. They're not going to do that because it's going to take away from their money and what they earn for proving things. But the simple fact is that there are stuff that they are bringing out as well that really does show some really crazy stuff that's going on. I nearly swore them. Some really crazy stuff then on there.
Well,
It's an
again,
interesting place.
I see the interest in it, and I get why my hubby watches it because they are like fun to watch. But also,
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
it's not like it's not like you actually going there and experience it yourself, because I do feel
Well,
like
you're not
there's
allowed to, are you? So
heck
unless you pay
no, and I
maybe
wouldn't. But
certain
I'm
group.
just saying that when it comes down to it, you know that they're hiding a lot of that shit. A lot.
Yeah, which is why they've done it so that it's really hard to get yourself onto that ranch because they don't want people to be taken
Literally got
away from
chain
what they're
link
making.
fences and barbed
Yeah,
wire fences and like huge like concrete
you can't
walls
enter
all the
it.
way
If you
around it.
did try to enter it, you'd end up dying. I'm sorry, because you'd probably get like spiked by one of
Somebody
the
probably
fence bits they've got up or something, or barbed wire
they
stuff.
got landmines around it.
Yeah, I'm sure
Which
they've got loads of things around that to make sure you don't get into
that'd
it.
be
And
messed
it is
up.
really hard to get in there as well. You've got to be a certain way and a certain sort of authority for them to allow you to come and investigate on there. You know what I mean? So for people like us, it'd probably be very unlikely.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They don't want outsiders and people
Oh
that.
no, but that one YouTuber guy got permission to go.
Yeah, but
He
then
went,
he's a big name. He's got big money. He's going to keep his mouth shut. He's going to get paid loads of money to keep his mouth shut. Like people like us that are these small groups and that. Why are we going to go on there and be paid loads of money to shut our mouths? We're not there to do that. We're not there to shut our mouths. We're there to prove the existence. We're there to.
well,
That's why
Miss
they ain't
Sherry,
going to just let anybody on there, are they?
if you were, I swear, I truly believe this. If any one of us who are extremely like, well, me being an empath, if I was anywhere near that place, I know I would feel a ton of stuff. So it's just,
Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
know. So that's what I was saying. You don't need to be on the actual ranch to have an experience. Most of the people that had experiences are within like even 100 miles of the damn place. So like, let's,
Yeah,
yeah. So sorry, but I don't think that
yeah.
you need to be
Yeah,
on
yeah,
it.
definitely. But the pinnacle of the activity and where most of it happens is within the ranch, which is where people want to go. You know what I mean? So, but a lot of us are not allowed to for that very reason. Yeah, outside of the ranch is really active as well. You'll get just as much evidence there, but the ranch itself
Get
is
a
another
hotel.
level.
Just get yourself
It's
a
another
hotel
level.
like 20 miles from the
Yeah,
ranch.
yeah, yeah. I would have
Go
issues
do
with
some
programs.
stargazing out there, sweetheart. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I would have issues with the programs like the ones that Kris is talking about, like how most of reality TV is scripted. Well, it is scripted, and they have a certain way that they have to act, a certain way that they have to be. They have to do certain things to make it look more better, to make the money and things like that. You're not really in charge of yourself when you go under a TV program. You know what I mean? You become something you're not, which is why I've never really been interested in the TV side of it. I don't want
They're
to be
all
changed
very
on who
rich,
I am.
sweetie. They're
You know
all
what I
very
mean?
rich. They all got money. Money, money, money.
Yeah. I just don't personally want that. I want to be able to just continue being who I am and doing it the way I do it. I don't want somebody that's going to tell me how to act or what I need to pretend I pick up today, or it's not who I am. It's real or nothing. Sorry. Like
Pretty much. But I
the
do
local bars
watching.
suck.
I do enjoy
The
watching it.
local bars suck apparently. Well, I'm sure they do. There's probably not many people that go in there after a certain time at night. If that place is that
Oh
active,
yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it.
walking down the road drunk out of your face, and some skinwalker comes out in front of you. Oh God, no, that's all right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, also, I would think that the people around there, like, they just know not to mess with it. They know not to be enticing anything, which is probably why that original family was able to get away with so. And maybe they did have some wolves in their shed. Geez, if they did, how crazy would that have been? But
Everyone needs to maintain their free will.
mhm. What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, I'm a bit puzzled as well. So like,
Because I clearly have we clearly have.
we're being free will. We're just, I think that it maybe he's referring to when we said about that we should be able to be ourselves and not change because of others. It's free will. It's free will. We should have the right to be able to be who we want to be and act how we want to be. We shouldn't be controlled by others or told what we can and can't do, sort of thing. And I do. And a lot of the TV
Do
programs
what you
are that.
want.
They're not in control. They walk around with all this money and thinking they're all that, but behind closed doors, you see all of the stuff they have to do to keep their producers happy and things like that. You know what I mean? They have to do a lot,
I know,
and
but
sometimes even fake evidence
thank
to keep
you.
them happy. No, thank you. So
No, I know. No, thank you. But I saw that quotation mark there, baby. Yeah, I got you.
but they do that. If you're not, like, I'm not being funny. When you watch these shows, yeah, how many times do you see paranormal or something is going on in this show? Yeah, most of the time that's what supposedly is happening, and that, yeah. But even that, they're not actually really experiencing any of that. It's stuff that's been written to the script because they've gone there a number of times and they've got nothing. So then they're trying to write scripts to make it look like it's better than what it is, and it brings money in. Think it is crazy. Like, I'm not saying that they don't experience all the things that go on, but a lot of it is make believe.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why I don't
No,
watch any paranormal program.
said it
I
was
don't.
make believe. They're probably what they catch is what they have, and they have to like hype it up.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like
exactly.
if
Like
you get if you catch
a
this,
little knock on the wall. To a lot
yeah.
of people, that's not going to be fascinating. So what you're going to do? They I'm going to add a
But if
shadow,
you
so it looks
if
like the
you
shadow went past it. You know?
if you personally experience that, then it's something to you.
Yeah.
It's that to me
But when
is
you're
what
on TV, it's got to be something to everybody else as well. So if you've got a knock,
exactly.
even though you're going to find that the most amazing evidence, people on TV are going to be like, that's bloody boring. It's only a knock. So they add things to it. They'll add either a shadow or they'll add that somebody's been touched and just been attacked. You know what I mean? They just make all this dramatic stuff.
It's not that yeah, I mean, but
No,
no, and that doesn't mean that they weren't touched, because sometimes that, like, I feel like
but not
that's
all of them are, sis. Come on.
yeah.
You can tell when they're fake. You know what I mean? Like there's one particular
You're like,
show that
not
I
all
watched
of them.
where
It's too
there was a
obvious
pair of
when it's
legs
fake.
going up the stairs, and they tried saying that was a spirit's legs, and it actually was one of their cameraman's legs. Come on, like you cannot see that's a cameraman's legs. You know what I mean? Like they do put things in there to try and
Hold
make it
on
look.
too. Also, when you're in the shadows, your eyes can deceive you.
Yeah,
Like, you
and
could be
like
seeing
they
some
might not even
stuff.
be seeing anything though. That's what I'm saying. They could be standing there going like looking, and then like they make up this mad thing that they've just seen some bloke walk past them, and there isn't anything there. Like that they play
There
up to it.
isn't any.
I'm not saying that everything that they go through is not real. I'm sure
No.
they have had some experiences, but some of the stuff you watch on TV, you're like, oh, come on, really?
Oh
I'm an
yeah.
investigator, have been for over 20 years, and I've not even.
Well, I'll tell you who I did like. There's a couple ghost shows that actually I did think like, oh, had some significance, but for the most part, yeah, they're just there for entertainment value,
Entertainment. Yeah, entertainment.
unfortunately.
Yeah. There's been a few good shows. I'm not saying that. It's the cases. There have been a few good shows, but only not. I can't even count them on one hand. The good shows that have been on TV. I'd say maybe two.
The
And
one,
you'll
what's
notice
the
this.
guy? The guy that had the divot box. He had the divot box. Um, that guy, the brown hair. He's an American guy. His show's pretty good. I like Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters. Ghost Hunters. I don't know. But he really did
Are
have a.
you on about Zach Bagans?
Yeah, I believe so. Is that his name? I don't know. I used to watch his show, but
Sis,
what? What? What's wrong
not
with
all
it?
of it. Their stuff is real.
Yeah, probably not. But
No, it's not.
well, that's okay. I don't care. He was, I mean,
No,
he did claim that he did like encounter some stuff.
yeah, no, he's had some experience. Not denying that, yeah. But I'm telling you, not everything that he says happens on his shows happens.
Oh no,
I'm
no, no.
sorry, it
Of
doesn't.
course not.
I
But
have never
I do
seen a
believe
show
that
that says about how.
one of the
Never
reasons
seen
he
a show that
stopped.
mentions demonics that much. Demonics are not that open to things. You know what I mean? So nearly every show that they would be on, they're going on about they've seen a demonic. There is not a demonic in every place that you're going into, mate.
Oh,
Seriously,
really? You think they said that? I don't think they said
they
that
do.
every time.
They do say that. They have said that. I've got a demonic. I feel a demonic present here. That's all you ever hear them talking about. Why do you think half of
That's the
their
only
team
thing that
left?
gets. Hold on, that's the only thing that gets people's attention is
Yeah, but
something
that's
like
wrong.
that.
That's lying. That's
It's
lying.
like,
Why would you turn around and say that
it
every
is
place you go
lame.
to got a demonic in it? That's not being true to the paranormal field, is it? They're not investigators. They're wannabes. Because if they were real investigators, they would realize that a demonic does not turn up to every single investigation you're on when you're live. Why does it not happen to you when you're on your own and you're not on TV, but it does when you're on TV? Come on, work it out. Because they play up to the camera.
Yes, they
Sis
do.
sits there with a cute face, like, yep. I used to love them. I used to
know.
love Ghost Adventures. Used to
Well,
love them. I used to think they were the
but it's
bee's knees. When
also
they first
just for
started out, they were really
entertainment.
good.
That's the point. It's entertainment.
Yeah, but they're not meant to be there to be doing entertainment. They're meant to be showing real proof of paranormal.
No,
How are
no.
they
If you
showing
talk
real
to
proof?
him, he'll tell you that he has real stuff that's like haunted, like dolls and
Yeah,
all
he
that
has a
stuff.
museum. I am not saying he
There you
hasn't
go.
haunted stuff, but how do you know that he's that educated like he makes out? I don't think he is.
I don't know, man. I think the guy knows what he's talking about most of the time. Most of the time. And that doesn't mean that.
There was a demon when I was married. There was a demonic in my house every day. Oh, pups! Are you going on about your wife?
Ah!
Oh dear. Yeah, but no, it's honestly a lot of these paranormal shows. When you watch them, they always mention that they can feel a demonic presence, and there is not that many demonics hanging about waiting for Zach Bagans and other places to turn up. You know what I mean? Like,
No, they're not, but they're probably in some of his dolls and stuff. Like, come
yeah,
on.
but if he's gone out to a location where those dolls are not situated, why is he picking them up in those places? Like,
Well, okay, it's exactly what your pop said earlier. Like, first of all, the more you believe in something, the more you're going to start to believe it, for some people, whether it's true or not, I mean, and especially if you sit there and start talking to demons and talking to spirits such as he has, they are going to follow you home, man. So,
yeah,
yeah,
but the thing is, what I'm saying is, how do you know that he's even getting these demonic spirits? How do you, like, I'm not being
he
funny.
got
They go
really
from
sick.
being really dramatical and oh my god, we're being attacked by them, and then the next minute they're standing there all calm like nothing happened. Like that is not how it happens with demonic spirits.
You're probably right, but like,
No, I know because I have faux demonic spirits out of a house.
yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? Like you're not going to be there 5 minutes, and you're coming into communication with them, and they're doing whatever to you, and they're affecting you, and they're taking over your mind, like they say, yeah. And then the next minute you're standing there laughing and joking with your mates, saying that you're okay now. They don't disappear that quickly. They don't. You know what I mean? And not all of these places have been negative places. So why would there be demonics in an unnegative place? There wouldn't be.
Well, yeah, they're not. Well, I don't know. One of the bars they went to, like the gangsters were there and shot a bunch of people up and prostitutes and
Pops is
stuff.
my pops in the room. Strangeland. Danny Wolf. He's my pops.
Hello.
He's my dad.
Hello, Pops. Yeah, I watched your show earlier. That was nice. But but yeah, so I'm not saying he's totally fake. I don't think he's totally fake. Surely,
No, he's not
again,
totally fake, but he's not totally real either.
neither is the Skinwalker Ranch people there right now. Come on, those are
Yeah,
a
but
bunch.
I'm
A
not
lot of
on
them are
about the Skinwalker
scientists.
Ranch. I'm not trying to clarify for these researchers on Skinwalker Ranch. I'm clarifying that that ranch is haunted and that ranch has things going on in it. And I've said, haven't I just said that on the show, that they're not telling us everything.
Of
That,
course,
and just as you have as well. Do you know what I mean? It's true. But I'm sorry, I would believe those people in that ranch that are
I
giving
would
those
too.
videos out a lot more than I would Zach Bacon's that stands there saying he's been touched by a fucking demonic spirit and his mate sitting in the hotel room coughing up blood. Like, well, where's the evidence then?
Oh,
You
I
know,
didn't
like,
see that
that
one.
really
I
happened,
might have
things like
missed
that. You know
that.
what I mean? Like, and why would you go back there again? Why would you keep going back to these places that supposedly have been your most worst, experiences? Why would you keep going back?
Well, for clout, for glory, for
No,
whatever.
because you're stupid and because you really do not know what you're going on about or what you're doing. Only to an extent. Yeah, he's acknowledgeable. Yeah, he knows things. I'm not denying that. Yeah, but he's not as up there as what he makes out. And I'm sorry, he cares more about his appearance and what he looks like on camera than anything else. He's always like this with his hair and always got his tight shirts, trying to get,
Don't we all? Come on
like
now. I
putting his
don't
little
look like
posy
crap.
pictures up on his Facebooks and everything else, like, and trying to get the women to give him attention, even though he's got a missus. Like, a lot of it, he's vain. He's vain.
Well, I mean,
He does. You know, must notice it sometimes when he stands on camera, the way he would do an angle to the camera and he'd look at it funny. Like, it is all about him. It is all about him. Look at me. Look, I'm good looking. I look really cool because I'm a ghost hunter. But are you really a ghost hunter? Have you really got out all of these demonics that you say you have?
well, people watched him because he was a character. He was somebody that was
No,
interesting.
no. And most of the women that watch him is because they want to do undreamly things to him. I'm not being funny.
Well, not me.
Well, no, not
Not
you.
me.
You're the
I'm
one
good.
in the million that don't. You know what I mean? But there are that a lot of them. It is. It is
I
his
do
looks because
find
he
him
knows he's a
attractive.
good. He knows he's a good-looking man in his opinion. You know what I mean? So he uses that to his advantage. And what more does it make it look better if he becomes macho, saying that he investigates the dead and he battles demonic every day and he's good looking at this? Oh, come on. Yeah, because there's going to be a demonic spirit standing at every place door waiting for Zach Bagans to turn up. No, they're not going to be, are they? Why would Zach Bagans be important if none of us are important? Why would demonic want to go for Zach Bagans but not for somebody else? You know what I mean? Why?
Because he summoned it. Because he wanted it there. Because he did
It's
it
because
for.
it's not there. It's not there.
Could be. I'm gonna
So
use the bathroom. I'll be right
yeah,
back. Okay.
and we're not arguing, guys. We're actually having an in-depth conversation. Yes, I'm sorry, but he is. He's a tart. He is. He's a tart, and he likes the attention. And demonic spirits are not going to turn up to every single location that Zach Bagans turns up to. I'm sorry. A demonic spirit don't even turn up to every location I go to. So work that out. And I do bloody real investigations. I don't know, because he goes and has a lot of cleansings and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that Zach does a lot of what he does because he knows he's good looking and he thinks it makes him look really cool when he does that. I'm not saying he's not had all of the experiences, and I'm not saying that his teams have not been attacked at times. I'm sure they have, but to stand on every single program and say that he can feel some sort of demonic or negative energy around him, you ain't going to get that on every location. I don't even get that on every location. You know what I mean? So it's a bit far-fetched. If that's the case, then he'd have a line full of demonics waiting outside his house, waiting for him to come home that want a piece of him. You know what I mean? You don't know what his name is? Oh, no, don't worry. Exactly. Thank you, Gail. Okay. Yep. You know, like, look, I'm not mocking every paranormal team that's on TV. There are some good ones out there. There are. Yeah. And they all start out really good. They all start really enthusiastic, being real. And then as the money comes in and the fame starts to become something, you know what I mean? They change. They change so badly. And then it's all about how many demonics they can mention in a program, how many times the team's got attacked, you know, just mad stuff like that. I'm not saying that the objects in his research place isn't real. Of course I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm sure he has picked up a lot of objects from very haunted places, but I just don't believe that he gets the activity to the extent that he tries to make out. Not from my understanding, he's not gay. He's got a girlfriend, sweetheart. Unless he's suddenly turned gay, I don't know. He's had quite a few girlfriends, from what I understand.
Sorry. My chicken was done, and
Gail, my darling, I can 100% guarantee you that Zach Bagans is not gay.
Gay?
He's had girlfriends.
I don't think he's gay, but hey, you know, he might go both ways. Who never knows?
He might. Yeah, not gay.
I don't judge on people's sexuality. Do whatever pleases you, my friend.
No, she was just saying here, like she said in the room. She goes, "Yeah, he does come across as vain. He is supposed to be gay, from what I'm understanding." And I was just clarifying to her, he's not gay because he's had a lot of girlfriends and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think he's gay.
Yeah. Even though sometimes when you see some of the clothes he wears and the way he walks around, you'd think so, wouldn't you? Because he does love the camera. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
he pumps himself up for these imaginary demons that are waiting for him inside as well. You know what I mean? Like, let's get this. Yeah.
How do you know that man doesn't have a bunch of demons around him?
Probably at home with his objects, but not to every location he's going to.
I don't know. I feel like things probably follow that man. I would imagine after doing that for so many years and possibly lying about it.
Posh.
You just don't like the guy, do you? It's all right. Who cares?
I used to, but then I become very disappointed because I just started to see that man is not real. Like,
about spit out
I'm
my
an
drink.
investigator, and I've been an investigator for over 20 years, and I've not even come into face to face with that many demonics.
No, I've never.
You know what I mean? So come on.
I can't even say if I ever actually have. I actually saw a man's soul that I think he might have been controlled.
I think in my whole time
by a
as
demonic
an investigator, I've probably seen 7 demonic. 6 of them I got out of one house.
Yeah.
And then maybe 8 and 2 more. But that's just been when I've been out investigating and I've just felt that negative energy, got that smell. It's not physically seeing them, sensing that they were there, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
you don't come into communication with demonic spirit very, very regularly. It's not a known thing.
Yeah. Like you guys were saying earlier today.
Or you go to a place where there's a lot of negativity and a lot of energy, then maybe so. But
I mean, I don't think you can even get that out of a graveyard.
Like, I'm not saying that there ain't negative energy around graveyards. There is, but it's very rare.
Yeah.
It is very, very rare, right? And I'm sorry, I've seen
graveyards
shows where he's gone on investigations in churchyards and he's saying he's seen a demonic there. Like, I one of my most favourite places to go to are graveyards, and I have not experienced a demonic in a graveyard yet.
Me neither. I've never seen anything.
Most people have never astral projected or can see energy fields. Most people have never. It's true, but not true. It's a bit of both. There are people that astro project, and there are people that see energy fields very well. The ego does take over, and that's what I'm saying. When you watch any paranormal show, right, when they first start out, they're legit. Okay, they're genuine. You can see that they're genuine and they're enjoying it. And then you see as they make the money, they change. Their character changes, the way that they look, how they work, how they walk, how they get the swagger. Everything's about the money. Yeah, no, it's nothing else.
How they get the swagger. Girl, you trash.
Well, I speak the truth. I'm sorry.
I know you do.
That's
Oh
why
my
people love me.
God.
That
Yeah.
was just like me and you coming on our show every night. Well, there's a demonic behind us. Look, guys, like what people think we're fucking crazy. Come on.
I'm over here like, what, my plant? Come on.
You know what I mean? Like, what the
Uh,
hell? I'm sorry, guys. My opinion on Zach Bagans is over.
I know, we're sorry. We don't know how we got there. I think it just turned into
Right, and we talk about how people change in their shows. We do exactly the same.
oh, come on, but look, think about it. Think about it. The Skinwalker Ranch got a little boring at the end. Not that I'm not interested. I just know that there's like it's like almost like
It wasn't
it's an
boring.
endless
It was
topic.
conversation over.
It's
I
an
think I
endless topic, though. You got to admit, there's almost like
It is
there's
an
so.
endless, yeah. And to be honest, we weren't going to go through the big details today. It was just going to be a
I
bit
was
of a
just
talk
trying
about
to
this.
just
How
make
we've
people
gone
understand.
from Skinwalker Ranch to Zach Bagans and his investigating, I don't know, but there you go.
No,
I
we
think
went on it because
he didn't. No, he didn't. I
it.
don't think Zach's been to Skinwalker Ranch, has he?
You don't know, man. I don't know, honey.
Dang it, Sherry! Don't be calling Dash
My
a
husband
demon.
would know,
Oh, my Dash ain't a demon, even though
baby.
sometimes he acts like one.
Has Zach Bacon the whatever
Bagans, yeah, Zach
the
Bagans.
the ghost guy, the ghost hunter guy? Has he been to Skinwalker Ranch? I think he has actually.
I'm sure he has.
I think he has.
I know that Jack Osborne has, but that's I'm not what I'm saying. None of you mentioned Zach Bagans in the room though. So why the hell did we start talking about Zach Bagans? I don't know.
Because I was talking about fake how these shows are so commercialized and they're
Yeah,
not
and you
really
turned around and goes, you actually didn't mind watching the one with that guy that does it.
I said I
It
didn't
wasn't
mind
then,
watching him because it was
yeah,
entertaining.
and
Whether
then
he
you're
was
like, oh,
telling
I
the
can't remember what
truth
his
or
name is.
not.
He's like Ghost Adventures or something. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my god,
Ghost
you're not
Adventures.
on about Zach Bagans, is
She
she?
started going off on this guy
When
like,
you go back and watch it, you'll probably crease up because my face when you said Zach, when I
you
said,
got so mad.
I was just like,
I'm like, dang, I haven't watched him in years, but like, I thought he was entertaining.
of course you think he's entertaining because that's what he's supposed to do, but he's really not
Exactly.
a real investigator. Come and do an investigation with us on our shows where there's real ghosts, for fuck's sake.
Dude,
Excuse me.
it's okay, love.
Go get your star machine out and let him stand under that and see what he thinks when he sees
Oh
that.
my God, dude,
Come on.
I don't
My
think I'm
mirror
gonna use.
that as a
No,
spirit.
no, no. I'm being serious. I don't think I'm gonna use that for a while. I think I'm gonna leave that thing alone. Like, cause I don't know.
And
It
that's
can
good,
do.
Mark. And there are legit people that are going through paranormal experiences and need help, but you do get some idiots out there that like to put that they know how to do everything, and they really just not like that at all. Like, and that's good that you helped her, and I'm glad that you was able to put herself at rest for what was going on in her home and that. And that's what I'm about. I'm not here to like fake my evidence and do things like that. I want to bring proof and truth. And when I go on my investigations, yes, when I go to my public investigations, I do enjoy it to show you guys what might happen there, what might not. You know, like I always say to people, when you go on these investigation stuff, you're not always going to get evidence that they're there. You know what I mean? But just being able to see a location and have an understanding and a history of that location can be just as exciting. It doesn't mean that the next time you go there, something won't happen. You know what I mean? And that's what I like about it. It's not all about catching spirits every time or catching a UFO every time. There may be a story or a history behind this place that you're at. You know what I mean? And that's what just as important. And yeah, I do believe it's important to go in and investigate and look deeply into any of the house investigations and things you're doing. I do get that, yeah, and I do that. But my sole purpose when I'm doing those houses and I'm helping those clients is to help them and to get rid of that energy that they don't want there, that's making them feel uncomfortable. I'm about helping both them and the energy. You know what I mean? Like I'm not about seeing how many ghosts I can catch on a camera. Like, I want to catch the evidence. I want to be able to show you people that it's there. But I am one of these that's very open and know that not every place you're going to go to, you're going to get activity. There's going to be places where you get nothing at first. You know what I mean? So it is a lot about the history of the place, the stories behind the place as well. That's what makes a haunted place, and that should be just as important.
So usually the land, like your pops was
The
saying.
land or the house, or sometimes it could be objects in that place. It could be the history because it's an old place. It's had a lot of different energy in it, you know, and it should be about the history just as well as the ghosts and the hauntings that are going on. You know what I mean? How did
In
it
my
get haunted in the
experience,
first
the
place
land.
from the history? You know what I mean? So whether that's a ground, a building, whatever it is, there's a history. There's a reason to why it's happened. You know what I mean? And
Oh
I
yeah.
do believe it's just as important. You know what I mean? People are not really going to understand a house that you're investigating if you don't have no evidence or anything that you understand about it. You know what I mean? There's always got to be a story or something to how it happened. You know what I mean? So all of that. And that's why we wanted to share the Skinwalker Ranch, even though a lot of you know about it. You
Yeah.
know, it's a investigator's dream place to go. There's just so many things that happen on there and stuff, and you get so many people talking about the scientific side of it and how it's this and it's that. It's just nice to be able to have an open chat where we can just talk normally about it and have our theories on what we think things are. I think that makes more of a show than you trying to bring out the fact that it's got this in it and it's got that in it and this happens and that. Like people have heard that over and over and over and over and over again. What
Yeah.
about sitting there and having a theory show like we've just done? Literally, we were sort of started out talking about
Well, I
Skinwalker,
just,
but we very quickly got into our opinions on things. You know what I mean? And that's what
mhm,
these shows should be about.
I agree.
Yeah,
It's just that you got to have a little backstory. That's what I was trying to give. That's why I was just trying to make people understand who
yeah,
owned it, what they
most
went
definitely.
through.
Yeah,
And then once you get through that, you already know what you've heard. At that point, it is
I've
theory.
already done the
It's
Skinwalker
all
part.
theory.
But you missed that. You missed that part, and that's what I'm saying. You know, like we've got so used to seeing so many shows doing the educational side about it and bringing all that information. You don't really need to do that again because people already know that. So just having a controversial bit and just talking a basic information about it, you know, is enough. Like the theory is Skinwalker Ranch is haunted. Skinwalker Ranch has UFOs. Skinwalker Ranch has spirits.
Yep.
Okay, and the
All of
likelihood
the
of us
above.
ever getting on that land is very, very zero. Okay. But why do people talk about it? Because it is fascinating and it is something that makes a lot of people's minds tick and think, oh, if only I could get on there just to see that. Like, because you can only watch so many videos, yeah, and take so much in. But like in my opinion, I could watch a video over and over again. It's not giving me that wow factor in that way. I want to feel that wow factor to myself. I want to know what it feels like myself, not what somebody else is showing me or saying. That's how I've always been. Like, and my likelihood of me getting on Skinwalker Ranch and ever investigating it, like I said, is a very big zero, more than likely. But if
Oh
I
yeah.
was given that option and that chance, I would. But I wouldn't be one of them that would stay there and overstay that welcome. The minute I started feeling that hostility and like something wasn't, I'd go. I wouldn't wait to find out if something's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, but just to be able to say that you've been there and you have experienced something, and you know it's legit. Because so many, like, I'm not saying
Hold
it's
on,
not.
baby. Let's get it. Let's get ourselves a hotel about 20 miles away from it, and just pull out our.
I don't want the hotel 20 miles away from it. I want to be inside it.
Well, I'll go with you there, and then you can go, and then I'll stay in the hotel.
No, no, I'd go with you, and then I wouldn't go there again. I want to go once and only once. Okay, just
I bet my
enough,
husband would be down for that. To be honest
just
with
enough
you,
to be able to say I've been there, I've felt it, and it's not something I've took
it's an
from a
expensive
video.
trip too.
I want to
I'm,
experience it myself. You know what I mean? I don't want to take
Utah
a
is
video
like
and find this work.
all
You know
the
what I
way
mean?
across the country for me. I'm on the East Coast.
It's also good to have investigators who try to debunk things before stating that's paranormal. A
Amen.
squeaky door blowing in the wind isn't paranormal. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm
Mhm.
saying. Like, it isn't just about the proof of the evidence, but it's debunking it. Because let's be honest, like, there's a lot of investigations that we go to where they really honestly and sincerely believe that they're haunted, yeah. and it's the most logical explanations of something going on in the house, like that a wire's come unstuck and it's giving off a certain radiation, or some of the pipes are not working properly, so it makes this weird noise. It sounds like somebody's walking. Certain chemicals that can be given off in houses that can actually form you to hallucinate and things like that. There can be a lot
Carbon
of
monoxide.
explanations between what is actually paranormal and what isn't. That's why you should go around and debunk it. Like when you got like people that sit there and say that they're feeling certain electrical energies in certain areas. If there's a wire that's open, they're going to be feeling an electrical current. You know what I mean? They're going to be feeling something there. It doesn't necessarily mean it's paranormal. That's what where you'd have to do your ground searching and trying to establish if there is anything before you say there is. You know what I mean? Sort of thing. Like it's so easy to just jump in there and go, yeah, it's the spirit, but then you're not really thinking about those poor people when you're leaving their home.
No,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? So I'm like, okay, I believe your story, but let's see if we can get to the bottom of what's actually causing it, before
That
we
would be
say
the
it
best
is
thing to
that.
try and
You know
do.
what I mean? And if it is that, then we will sort it out. You know.
Well, I always loved that movie Poltergeist because they like stayed with the family for like a couple of
Sorry, I
weeks.
wouldn't go to the ranch itself unless I was packing a 12 grain short shotgun. I don't-
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
yeah,
I am gonna
I
roll
think
with
I would
that, my
most
friend.
definitely have some sort of weapon with me. There's no
Rifle,
question
a
about that.
battle axe.
Yeah, I mean, there would be I'd definitely have a weapon. I don't really use weapons because we're not allowed to it, but I would for that occasion, especially if you've got 6 foot wolves that are supposed to be meant to be dead but not dead coming towards you. Yeah, no, definitely not. Not even gonna be. Yeah, I mean, oh bless. Okay, sis. Well, I hope that she's or he is okay. They do have high random levels, but what you've got to remember is sometimes frequencies and levels in houses can be caused by things in the house, not by
Mhm.
paranormal. So you need to establish all of that first and get the readings from that. Then you can calculate if something really high or really low happens. Then you know it's not to do with those utensils in the house. You know what I mean? You know it's something else. It's so easy to read up on something that's not actually happening. You know what I mean? So
Because when you do
always
your
remember different
sessions,
temperatures and different times of the day. The house changes, the temperatures
mhm,
change. You've got to remember all of this sort of thing. Yeah, I mean,
but you always turn off all your devices and you only have like small things on. If you have like your TV on or your radio, it'll pick up.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I think this was something we could talk further on too, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's such an open-ended subject that everyone has
No,
their
I do actually think it goes with the show. Even though we was talking about Skinwalker Ranch, we was talking about things that are being faked. So what we're not saying that Skinwalker Ranch is being faked. It's not being faked. There is a lot of
no.
stuff going on there. There's just not a lot of detail being given the way it should be because
I
it's
was
not
just
meant to be. You
saying that
know
the
what I mean?
show, the new show that they have is commercialized. That was basically all I said. I'm not saying that they're not seeing or experiencing things. It's just they're leaving stuff out and that's how they do. That's what these shows do. But they are catching what they can. That's the most exciting thing to commercialize basically.
There
You know?
are those sort of things there, pups. There are a lot of those sort of things there, but establishing on how many of them have actually really seen it, and like you said, you can't really clarify on how high of a level that place is or how really active it is unless you're there yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you can't.
that's not I don't I just wouldn't go there. Yeah. Never. Let me get this piece of chicken in my cat real fast.
Rose red? No, I haven't. What's that about, Dragon? Rose red? Yeah, there is a lot of very true stuff happening on the ranch. There's been a lot of experiments that have shown unusual energy levels in there that can't be
Oh yeah,
explained. Yeah,
there's a ton of
I
stuff
agree
going on there.
completely, Sister Drew.
I'd be more afraid of the skinwalker though than the aliens. I'm not,
Yeah,
say
like I don't think that, like I'm not personally thinking that aliens are making anything dangerous. I don't think they are.
no.
I just think they're just going about
They're
doing
just
their
there.
own thing today.
They're
Like
yeah, they're just there.
they go to a lot of farms and take cows for different reasons. You know what I mean? Things like that. I know it's strange, but they do leave them to it. Let them get on with it. You know what I mean? Like they're all gonna come and see each other. They're related. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that the activity from the UFOs themselves is the negative stuff on there. And if there is anything negative coming from them, it's only because these people are trying to dig into something they don't need to be digging into.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
So, because I think that the extraterrestrial, from what I've learned and seen of them, you know, they just like to have their own lives and they like to just get on with things and they don't like to make a big
Fuss about it.
a fuss about who they are because of the way that they get treated at times. You know what I mean? So, a lot of this negative stuff, I do believe, is paranormal related. I do believe it's to do with the skinwalker and
Hmm.
other energies and stuff. You know what I mean? Curses and stuff like that. Maybe
The draining of the blood, I think, is definitely the skinwalker. It sounds
that
more
sounds
like
like a good film. Have you seen that, sis?
what?
Rose Red. Dragon said Rose Red.
Rose Red is
Supposedly based upon a true story of a haunted house in
Stephen King.
Seattle,
It's a very long
where
movie.
a paranormal investigating university professor gets taken over by an entity.
Mhm. Great movie. It's scary. It's actually one of the first movies in a long time that actually scared me. And I'll say why, because it did yeah, it was very realistic. It was good.
Yeah, it's meant to be based on a true story. Like, that's what I'm saying. A lot of these
It's super
shows are
long
based on
though.
true things.
It's it's like about 4 hours long.
Then we might need to look into it, Sister Drew, if you've not watched it either, definitely, just to see what it's about and
Yeah.
stuff like that, you know.
It was one of those made for TV things that Stephen King does. I remember
Yeah.
watching it when it came out, but yeah, I had it on DVD for a while.
I'm not
Yeah.
very good at remembering names of shows either. You know, I may put it on and have seen it, but I'm not very good at remembering the names of like movies and stuff. I just remember when I watch it and I'm like, oh, I've seen this, you know, like, so I
He
think very well done.
organized it. He organized it the same way that he did The Stand, because The Stand was like they did it for like a made for TV.
Those cows can be put in the what? Circumstance and dropped into the spot. Yeah, they can. They could be lifted and dropped back down. Yeah, of course they
That might
can.
be
But
what. Hmm.
well, I'm not being funny, but there is that occasion on the ranch where when the owner went back out, a massive piece of his equipment was in the tree. Work that out. How did that get in the tree from the ground? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, they were mad that they was digging, I guess, and it was metal, so
that's
it's
what I'm saying. That, but why would a piece of equipment be in a tree randomly like that? It wouldn't be, would it? Unless you've got to have
it
some
was 20 feet
goddamn
up.
hard wind to move that up there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not being
Well, they
funny.
just said stuff started going missing, and when they'd go
Yeah,
to look for stuff, if
yeah.
they
But what a
randomly
place to put
found
it
it in
in
a
the
tree.
tree. Like, what, you know what I mean? And I do believe that's probably UFO related. They're probably thinking, oh, technology. Let's see how it works. Tries to pick it up too heavy, and it drops it in the tree. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
very well done. Have a
That's
great
good.
day, Danny. Okay, pups, love you. If it's you going or Strangeland, what? Ghost Squad fans rock. Hello, Sister Sherry and chat. Hello. How
Hola.
are you, Ghost Squad? Ah, and we've got Sister Drew. So yeah, like we've been going on for an hour and 39 minutes, and I think we had a pretty awesome show talking about
Yeah.
Skinwalker Ranch, then going on to the my lovely opinions on Mr. Zach Bagans.
I'm actually enjoying your lovely opinions on Zach. Dude, it's okay. Nobody cares.
Anyone that comes
Like
on
that
shows
dude
me
cares.
knows. If you
I'm sure
mention
he's
someone
heard
I'm
it
not
all.
speaking on, I will say, I don't care.
Hey, it is what it is, right? Nah,
Ghost
it's okay.
Squad fans rock. Who is that? Sherry says, I can't chat in your lives with my main channel, so I am using this one. Is that Kris?
Chris,
Oh, Christina. Hello, sweetheart. I don't understand why you're not in
Christina.
this. I have looked in on my blocking thing, and you're not on there. So I'm really not understanding why you're not able to write in the chat.
I can't even see the chat. No biggie. I don't
It's
care.
on the StreamYard. Can't you see it on the StreamYard?
No, I don't see nothing. No chat, no nothing. I haven't seen it
There
the whole
isn't a
time.
bit at the top that says chats or private.
Oh, girl, you know me. I'm not very good with computers. I don't.
She's not very tech savvy, guys.
I am totally not. Um,
And I thought I was bad.
I'm terrible. Half the time, I'll be like, dude, I forgot my password and my email address. How does
Oh,
that
how?
happen?
Yeah. Ozone vibrates at a frequency that lower entities don't like. You can clear a house with it. Everything has a vibration. You're very, very, very right, Mark Lee. And you'll find that in some of my investigations and stuff, I'll use the toning of my drum because it'll do very low beats. And even that, and putting that energy into wanting to release something, it happens. It's all about sound vibration and things like that. I very much agree with that. And there's a vibration in our voice when we talk, which is what
Yes,
makes,
there is. That's
So
why my
there you go.
cat comes to me whistling. I can
Yeah,
whistle.
top of the page on the
That
StreamYard,
cat,
out on the right, you'll see like comments or something. But seriously, she's not going to know what she's looking for. Believe me, Sister Drew.
oh yeah, where's
All
it
you're
at?
going to do is you're just going to be having her going
Hold
like
on, at
this,
the
looking up
bottom.
and down.
Wait.
No, at the top.
Oh, oh, okay. At the top. It says 41 at the top. It does say that.
Oh,
Oh,
let's not get her to do anything because it would be my luck.
I'll
She
just
drops
end
out
up
the car and
leaving.
don't know where the hell she's gone. You know what I mean?
Let me give this chicken to my cat.
Yeah, she really does. She's not very good with the technology at all. That's why I set up the streams and I just leave her to talk and look pretty. And we have such a character together, me and her. Me and her get on really, really well. Really, really well.
Oh, I love you, baby. One second. One more chicken to
We
my cat.
bounce off each other, literally. And we have some very interesting talks, believe me. Yeah, no, I'm going to. That does sound very, very interesting. I will be checking that film out. Rose Red. Definitely.
Yeah, I think we should watch that together, Scary. No,
Yeah.
if I tried to find it, it used to be on YouTube, Rose Red, but you have to pay for it, I think, now. But it's a great movie. It's really, really long. It's gonna take you a while to watch that.
No, that's all right. I like anything
It's super
paranormal. It don't
good
bother me.
though. The beginning part when
Mark
they go
Lee
into
is
the
not.
house.
I'm not sure about using vibration ozones since some investigators use a telescope coil to flood a space with electricity
Hmm.
when a product of the Tesla coil is ozone creation. Like there's different frequencies and different levels. There's certain tones that you shouldn't use to it, and there's certain tones that you do. Like I use like the universal level tones and like musical tones. Like music tones is not a problem where you make your own beats, you make your own sounds.
I
Like that's
listen to
really good to get better
Metallica.
energy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even singing Metallica, if you mean that, I'm sure it could do some power, mate. I'm
I know,
sure.
right? I know it. Nothing else matters, probably does.
Hi, folks. Red Rose, you, you, and I think still get it on DVD. I got it on 2 discs.
Yeah, it's on 2 discs. It's a great movie, though. You'll love it. I think you'll really
Rocky
love. I
socks.
think you
Hello,
actually
sis.
will be a little scared. It scared me the first time I saw it. It was a great movie.
I don't like horror or anything like that, but I like anything paranormal or
Oh,
weird.
I watch The
I play
Shining all the
Celtic
time.
music. I play Celtic music. I play Irish modeling, mandolin,
Oh,
goat
that's
skip
beautiful.
drum, a bodhrum,
Hmm.
pronounced bodhrum. Vibration is in the existence of everything. Yes, Strangeland, I very much agree with that. It is in the existence of everything. And there are so
Mm-hmm.
many tools and things you can use to get that vibration. Your voice is one of them. Okay. And then the instruments, all sorts of things, That's why I love using my instruments because they make beautiful sound, but they also have a tendency to give you that chemical that makes you feel cleansed and lifted and good, and you know, it's got that, definitely. Here is YouTube link for Rose Red movie here on ScrewTube for free. Dragon. Hi Dobby says, did you enjoy yourself? Yeah, well, I hope you had a good time, sis. And it's good to see you back. Oh, you went to the cinema. What did you watch?
Oh, tell me if anybody's seen Avatar, the new one. I want to see
No,
that.
no, and I want to. I love Avatar.
Me too. Oh, I could love it. And it's
Because
an
they got little
underwater one.
babies and everything. They've got little kids, and it's the water one now, isn't it? Yeah,
Yep, all about water. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I'm down for
That's
some mermaids and some
trailers.
undersea. Yeah, some big old
Seen,
sharks.
yeah,
I
that's
seen
one
it.
I definitely want
I
to
did
see.
see the trailer. The trailer looked great. It
Hello,
looked really.
Joe. I know it's been a while. It's really good to see all of my old faces back in.
That chicken was good. I'm sorry. I was sorry I was eating, but I had to.
No, it's fine, sis.
This is so delicious. I took the whole chicken. I cut it in half so my husband could just eat his while I was talking for a few minutes before I ventured in and couldn't stand it anymore. And my cat probably be eating. Well, I'm gonna make a sandwich out of some of this. It's too big for me.
Let me see if I can find my sister that couldn't get in the room on the other one. I'm going to make you blue on this one, Christina. I really don't know what's happened to why I can't get you back on the thing, because I've looked on my block list. Same with Sister Drew, so I don't know what the hell's going on there. I will get my friend to look at it again to try and sort it out again, but we couldn't find you guys on there, so I have made you blue on your new name, so hopefully that will stop you from going anywhere. There is no hard feelings. I've got no problems with anybody. YouTube is just being a screw tube, as Dragon said.
Also, don't ask
And
me.
does anyone want to see the Skinwalker map again quickly, so you can see the
Yeah, I
Skinwalker?
do. I kind of do, actually. Yep.
It's huge.
I was gonna. Cool. I was gonna take some screenshots.
And you go all the way over.
Isn't this the mountain? Is that the North Mountain right there, or is that the whole thing right there? I don't know. It's not that big.
Yeah. Skinwalker Ranch Triangle. This is the triangle here. This is where a lot of the activity goes on. And then you've got like the massive opening. This is the bit that they done a base on. This is where they believe that there is an object underneath. And if you look at it, it does very much look like it.
It very much looks like it. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Why is it so circular, dude?
It does, yeah. That's what I'm saying. There is something under there. I'm not nuts, you know. I didn't know.
Yeah, we're not nuts. We know that there's stuff
and there's
there.
Just like you see a lot of really weird shapes, like look at the shapes nuts, in the ground.
Sis. You nuts wanting to go there though? That I find nuts. I'm sorry.
I don't think I'm nuts. I'm just a typical investigator. I'm a typical investigator that wants the facts instead of hearing.
Yeah, but what if something did follow you home, sweetie? What if it did? What if it did?
I'm not stupid enough to not know what I have to do. That's the difference. I'm not one of these people that decide to go into a place without protecting myself when I come out.
I know.
And I would do every ritual and cleansing that you could possibly think of to make sure that nothing comes back with me, believe me. And I'd take the stuff with me so that wouldn't be coming near me anyway.
True.
I'm not saying that. That's not me saying that I'm actually go. I'm just saying that it would be a place that I'd find really fascinating to go to. I know that the chances of me ever getting on there are very, very slim. You know what I mean? But
say most people,
it is a place that does get your mind. It does make you think, and
you're not.
I just want to experience it for myself. I don't want to hear a load of scientists or people on videos that apparently been there telling that it's haunted. I want to hear. I want to experience that for myself. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I do what I do. There's a difference between making sure you're safe and somebody that just goes in there blind and don't
Mm.
really do what they're supposed to do. I'm not
Well,
one of them.
those gentlemen did the same thing. They went in there very safe. They did all their stuff, their protection prayers and all that. When they went, an owl started following them around, um, hooting and hollering and all that stuff. And I'm sorry, I just they got scared and they left. And I don't blame them. I'd have left too.
No, yeah,
Uh,
but they didn't get an attachment, did they?
I don't know. I didn't see a follow up on the video.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, they weren't being affected to the point that something was happening to them. They were just hearing a weird noise. You know what I mean? Because they're protected,
I know
because they've
that
done
their
things
truck
the right
broke
way.
down on the way out. Their truck broke down and just
Well, yeah,
stopped.
but that's the energy around the house. So and just get that sorted out. Like,
Yeah,
you just always make sure that you protect before you go, while you're there, when you come out, and when you get home. You have to make sure that you constantly cleanse yourself, even if you have to keep cleansing yourself for the next week or so. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
the next week
You
or
know,
so, I would
it's
imagine.
about making sure you keep
Okay,
yourself
well, I'm gonna
safe.
get back onto your ghost hunter guy because that's what he basically always would say. He said stuff attached to him. He
Yeah,
did.
but I'm not being funny, but Zach Bagans doesn't always use protection, does he? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A level of understanding and stuff, and understanding what's there. And to be honest, by what's said about it, you can kind of get the picture of what's there, and you just do your research into how to keep you safe from those such things and stuff like that. You know, I wouldn't go on just start going on there. Obviously, I'd make sure I'm
No, you
protected
did.
in every aspect and stuff. But
Well, I mean, I need some tips then because the only thing I've ever used is salt and holy water in my rosaries, and I got a lot of crystals around.
sages, elemento wood, you can use different coal, all sorts of things
Yeah,
to
I
help you
got
keep
crystals and
grounded and
stuff.
safe.
Mm. Oh, that.
Unless they do it off camera. Well, yeah, I don't think I'd want it to be public just for the sake of what's meant to happen there. I wouldn't want to
Mm.
put that energy onto anybody else. I wouldn't go live for that. I'd do it pre-recorded, and after, like I've done all the
Yeah,
cleansings and blessings, the energy's
pre-recorded.
gone, then I don't mind. Like, I wouldn't mind showing the video. You know what I mean? But until then, that it's not one of them places where you want to be live. I think
Mm-mm.
it'd be too dangerous. You know what I mean? So, but
Also,
what was you going on about Zach Bagans again?
who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Who cares?
Let's let that guy go away. But no, if you were live recording, it would start draining because like all those people had like multiple cameras, multiple devices, and like
Yeah,
it
it
drains
does.
all their stuff.
Yeah. Same with the researchers when they do it. Like, their cameras and everything will turn off, and then they'll have to go out there, and the battery's completely dead, even though it was a brand new one. You know what I mean? Like, they
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of trouble with that. That's why you would need a lot of equipment, a
Yeah.
lot, to even get a little bit of evidence on that place. I think it's an arc. It could very well be, but I do very much believe that believe it is extraterrestrial related. I do.
What, like a
Just by the
Stargate?
metals and the things that they picked up from it and stuff like that.
What do you mean by arc? Like a Stargate?
The thing that's under the ground.
No, an
You
arc.
also might want to have it set up with a Navajo shaman to do a ritual Indian cleansing after you leave, in case
Mm-hmm.
it's a trickster spirit that is there. Yeah, Navajo shamans, just people that know how to do rituals of the natural world, natures and stuff like that. Dealing with negative energies is a draining affair. It is. It very much is. Yep.
Yeah. I don't think, yeah, that's
Like
another
a
reason
pestle.
why. 'Cause look, the way I feel so deeply, I don't want to be around that if I know it's gonna I'm gonna walk out there and feel like I went to a rave, you know?
Yeah, but with like people like me, that is as an investigator or somebody that does that sort of work, that they're all very open that you're not just going to get pleasant experiences every time you do investigations. I'm sorry, you're not.
Oh, heck
There's
no.
always that them doorways that open to all sorts of energy, and all sorts of energy come through them. It doesn't matter how much you try not to stop that. You know, that's why you keep yourself protected and stuff like that. Anybody that comes into the paranormal saying, I only want to investigate positive places and good spirits, it's not going to happen, love. It's not going to
Oh,
happen. You're always going to come across
wait a minute.
something
I never
negative.
said that. I never
No,
said that.
I'm talking to the chat.
Oh, sorry.
This. If you're going to go into this, don't go into it thinking that you're only going to get positive energies. You're not going to get just positive energies. You will, at one point in your investigation life, comes across something negative. You will. It's knowing how to get rid of it. It's knowing how to deal with it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, the problem is Zach and his team are to Dreamland, Demonland. Yeah, thank you, Drew. Thank you. Everything is about bloody demonics with Zach Bagans. Seriously, he must have a fan club of demonics that stand outside every location he goes to, waiting with a sign up saying, Zach's coming, let's get him. Because that's what it goes on like. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. No.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing I found interesting was the museum and the divot box. But hey, I mean,
That's not what I'm saying, Facebook user. You're completely misreading what I'm saying. You're saying generally negative entities will come through more than positive energy. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying where there is positive energy, you're always going to come across negative energy. There is that in everything. Okay, you can't go into an investigation and expect only to speak to good spirit. Negative spirit are going to come through as well, whether that is from a person or another energy or from another realm or from an object, a building, a land. It doesn't matter. You're going to get good and bad. That is what I'm saying. Oh, this is a good show.
no, I wasn't trying
I
to
actually didn't
contradict
think
you.
I was going to have to cuss someone.
I wasn't trying to contradict you. I was just saying that, like, that place in
No,
particular.
not cuss you.
No, contradict you. Wasn't trying to contradict you when you was talking about investigating, because I don't do that. I've only been living in haunted houses, and I don't go out and
Yeah, you
investigate.
don't investigate it.
Yeah,
No, I know
like,
you weren't contradicting me, sis. I know you weren't.
well, so basically what I was trying to say is that I wouldn't go to the Skinwalker Ranch. I would not go there.
Well, yeah, but you don't have that understanding in an investigator's point of view, do you? You've not gone out and
No,
investigated places.
I'm
You've not had to do all of that. So I would understand why you don't want
yeah,
to.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have like
That's
a
why you
million.
said to
I'd
me,
have
I
like,
would only go if you go, sis, because you know what you're
you know
fucking.
what? We
Obviously, I
could
know
have
what
some
I'm doing.
garlic. Let's get some garlic around our necks and some holy water, and then we'll walk up in that place. I'm kidding,
What
because
do you think garlic and all that's going to do, sis? That just scares away the vampires, not the werewolves and
I'm
everything else that's there.
joking. I'm joking. I told you I'd never go
I
there.
know that, and I am jokingly saying back to you, what do you think a clover of garlic's going to do?
Would
Unless
it
it's a
do
vampire.
anything? Does it work for vampires? Is that a myth? I wonder about that too. Of all those different
Exactly.
things. I know silver. I know silver is important. But I don't believe all the others. The holy water and silver, I believe, holds some
Silver,
weight.
copper, gold, all of those sort of things are really good for the investigations. Coals, different herbs, different
Yeah.
incense ones. Dragon blood's really good. There's lots.
Did it mute? Can't hear you, babe. Did I mute?
Hello.
Yeah, I think you
Sorry,
muted.
I got. No, I did have to mute because somebody was calling me.
Oh, gotcha. My mom was trying to call me earlier, and I just declined it. I'll call her later.
It
It's
always
crazy.
happens. Anytime I'm doing a show, everybody starts ringing me like,
Well, you gotta like tell people certain
LOL,
people.
garnishing you for the skinwalker. Definitely garnishing you. I'm not really close to the Hoppy these days. They aren't north of me, but I've lived at the Grand Canyon. The
Mm,
Hoppy are associated with the Tibetans.
okay.
No, Kris isn't near Skinwalker Ranch. No,
No, I live on the East Coast.
no, she's not.
No, I live on near the Blue Ridge Parkway.
I don't think she'd want to be that near, to be honest.
Mm,
Sorry, went quiet. Yeah, I did. I had to mute a minute because somebody decided to start ringing while I'm trying to talk. Are you trying to say Sherry Strangeland or are you trying to say Shahay? Anyway, we have been going for 2 hours and 2 minutes, guys, and I think that we've covered quite a lot, and we've had a pretty interesting talk. We've talked about Skinwalker Ranch, but we've brought up other things as well. You know, I think sometimes it's really good to have a little bit of fun behind something that can be quite serious to talk about sometimes because of the extent of it. We didn't want to bring it to a serious level where people are going to be like, oh, we wanted it to be more comfortable to hear and more on opinions of what we think things are and things like that. And I think that it went a lot better than just having a set plan on a way that a place should be. Hello, tell the truth. Hello, my sweetheart. How are you, sis? So yeah, it's really good to see all of you in it, and I'm very, very sorry, but we are going to end the show now, guys, because we have been on for just over 2 hours. We hope that you enjoyed it. We hope that you found it educational, and we hope that you liked the slight slander to Zach Bagans. It's not meant offensively, by the way.
Oh my God, what if he ever saw it?
I'm sure there's a lot of people that say things. You know what I mean? I'm an investigator. I'm not being disrespectful to you, mate. Just what happened to when you first started out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's all I'm saying. Right. So from me and from my lovely co-host Kris, we love you, love and light, and we'll see you all very, very soon. See you later.